Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
There he is.
Yo.
You watching baseball or are you watching Suns Lakers?
Suns are pissing me the fuck off.
This game's been crazy. They were up by like 12.
Yeah. I saw the home run by the Dodgers though.
Yeah, the home run was nuts. All right. Welcome everybody to the crossover. And today is Friday, October 25th. And we start with any card letter related announcements.
I had nothing,
Yes.
but I do have a question.
Well, just can you allow
Okay.
the show to unfold?
Well, it was about something you guys just mentioned.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So I didn't watch the World Series because I don't watch baseball.
Okay.
And Nick told me that it ended with a grand slam.
Mm-hmm.
Do they make everyone run the bases if, like, it's a grand slam? Or do they just, like, add 4 points because they're like, it's a grand slam and it ends the game?
Josh, do you have an opinion on
They're
this?
called runs, not points.
First of all, they're called runs, not points.
That's what I said.
Second of all, I believe the
I think
letter
they're
of
called
the
touchdowns.
I believe the letter of the law is
Yeah.
that all bases must be touched, including home, in the proper sequential order in order for the run to count.
Correct.
I was just wondering.
But it is sort of like at the end of a football game in overtime when they score a touchdown, they don't need to kick the point after
Right.
because the
No.
game is over.
No,
But
you're right the first time.
But also it's a little different because, like, the grand slam is the home run. You can't come back from a home run.
Okay, we're getting into the weeds a bit.
Yeah, these are things that make...
You know, you should use ChatGPT. When I have things that I want to talk about, but I know it's not really worth talking to somebody else with about, I just go to ChatGPT and I have the conversation there.
Would you like to repeat that again?
All right, any card letter related announcements?
Yes, we have a huge announcement.
Let's go.
Unless we want to talk about baseball rules more.
We'll save that for later.
All right. We now support CGC, like across the board. So CGC sales are now categorized in sales history. So if you see a card with a sale with a CGC slab, you'll now see this button. You'll see pop reports like you do for the other guys. So you can click, say, show me all the sales from CGC of this card. So you'll get all the CGC sales. Pop report will show you the pop report for CGC, etc. And then on collection, you can add CGC certs here, and it will show up in the drop down. And then it'll automatically pull the images if we have them. The category, it'll put in all the information for you. I think that's it. We are no HGA, just CGC. And that, I was trying to figure out the CGC CSG. They've merged. So we are calling everything CGC, but if you have an old CSG cert, it will work the same. It will also work.
Awesome.
They both work. We're just going to always call it CGC for simplicity.
Very cool. Very cool. The work never stops. All right. Mail days. Are there any mail days in the house?
I have a PSA returned.
Let's go.
You?
I have none.
Okay. Well, let's see. I think I've shown these already on the show, so these are just PSA results. 2017 gold vinyl optic Antonio Brown PSA 8. 2016 same card PSA 8. I didn't get the 4 in this order, so I think we're moving up. And I got 110 2023 optic gold vinyl This is what you should see, right? You should see some 10s from a brand new product. This just came out. This got pulled, put on eBay. I bought it, sent it in 10. This is like the old days, getting 10s right when they released.
Right. Yep.
I think that's the first 10 I've gotten in, man,
years.
Probably a couple years, honestly.
It's crazy. That's amazing. All right. Very cool mail days. Yeah, a couple of things today have given me vibes of earlier times. Like, there's a question that we'll get to later that's hilarious. And it just reminded me of like a peak 2022 crossover question. Where it's just going to call for the ultimate amount of mockery. And I can't wait to do it. All right. So today we have a guest who's going to be joining us for the first segment of the show. And I believe he's ready to come in. Let's see if this works. Oh.
Yo.
There he is.
What's up,
I was
guys?
wondering if you were going to be coming to us from the attic, and it looks like you are.
I thought you were going to be at Disney World again.
That's old school.
Yeah,
I was at Disney World on vacation for one of the times that we spoke. That is a very good memory. I had forgotten about that.
That did happen one time. You are, Josh, you're a little bit muffled. Maybe the microphone on the earpiece is a little bit obscured.
Can you hear me? Am I good? Am I still muffled?
That's better.
That's better.
Yeah, I think I was just mumbling. I am no longer mumbling. Better?
Yeah, better for sure.
Okay.
What's up, Josh? How are you, man?
I'm amazing. How are you guys?
Doing well. Doing well. A lot of sports to keep up with right now.
Yes.
It's the best time of the year, man. When NBA is back, it's the best time of the year.
Yeah.
World Series, NBA, NFL, all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Josh, you made a post today that was sent to one of my groups about an announcement that you have with the NBA. And a few of us were speculating as to what it might be. It involves Ghostwrite and the NBA. So maybe we can start there. What's going on there?
Can we just talk about Cage? What a fool.
What do you say?
It's that zero fool guy. This guy's the best. This guy's the best. He wants to make himself the center of every episode. So let's just all stop and acknowledge him. So
he's the ultimate troll.
We love Cage. We love Cage.
I do too. What were we talking about? Ghostwrite. So, I actually was super interested in telling you guys about WNBA stuff and some cards I've been collecting because that's always more fun. But it happened to be the timing of this is really good. And when we talked about getting on at this week, I didn't know that this release was going to happen this way. But this is the first NBA licensed product that we're doing. And like we figured out how to make it pebbled. It's so fun. I mean, I'm biased, but like it's so cool. Like it's really cool. And the auction goes live on Tuesday. So this is our fourth release, but first like licensed release. And this is a NBA basketball. So pretty cool.
Okay, so that's why the reel that you posted today was showing all the basketballs, because that's the theme. The toy is layered with the same texture as a basketball is.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the actual Ghostwrite account. I think they time it better the way it's supposed to be timed. I think this was the yesterday, and today was maybe a show the product more. But in that one, yeah, there you go. That's the Ghostwrite post from today. But the one that I posted, what I thought was just super cool. The guys figured out how to make it where, because that's not a video. That's animation that our graphic designers do, which is really badass. But they basically at the very end of that, the one that I posted, you can see the ghost sort of pop out in the basket with the other balls and stuff like that. So, but thank you, Josh, for posting the other one. So,
yeah. So they're going to be ones now that you have licenses.
What's that?
Are there going to be team ones now that you have a license?
Yeah. So I'm going to jump right into this part of it, which is that look, was very fortunate that when I went and left Fanatics Collectibles to make collectible toys, that I knew the people that control the licenses at the league. So we have licenses with the NBA and the players, the WNBA and the players, MLB and the players. So this is the release next week, and this is going to be pretty cool. We're excited about that. But then in December is the first player release, and it'll be with the WNBA. We actually wanted to get the WNBA release out earlier because the season obviously just ended, but production factories and blah blah blah. But so anyway, I won't share the actual design, but it's this size, which are 2.5 inch, which in Bear Brick Ghostwrite world is called 100%. But this stuff is blind box, so you don't know what player you're going to get. You might get Caitlin Clark, you might get Angel Reese. There's obviously Breanna Stewart, and then there's like Gold Crown number to 10 and Chrome number to 5. I mean, this is like blind box toys is exactly like trading cards, right? Where you're trying to find the biggest hits, and it'll be opened by all the breakers. And so, of all the stuff we've been doing, like this is by far the most interesting, most exciting, and frankly, the thing that the leagues and the players they understood right away, right? Because they've been making trading cards for 40 years. So when we said, "Hey, we want to do the same thing but with collectible toys," they were like, "Oh, we're in." Like that's great. So anyway.
So what's the expectation for what the WNBA drop will do in terms of like how many units do you think will ultimately get printed or pressed or I don't know the right language to use here, but what's like the general expectation for how that first release is gonna go?
Yeah, one of the things that we wanted to do, everything at Ghostwrite, we will be fully transparent the total number of every product that's created and how many we're selling. So like this one, we're making 100, there's 60 that are being sold. The others are for gifts and archives and company, but and this one is a sample, so it doesn't have it, but it'll say on the bottom exactly how many exist. So for the WNBA blind boxes, there will be 800 of each player for the like base, and then there's gonna be 5 different parallels, including a 10, a 5, and a 101. And what that'll equal to is it'll equal to just under 1,200 cases. Each case has 12 players in it, and we're selling 900 of them, and 700 of those will be sold through breakers and hobby shop owners, and so you'll see most of the top breakers will have them, and then we'll do a blind Dutch auction on Ghostwrite for the other 200. So like right down to the individual player across the board, just full transparency in terms of supply, everywhere. So the answer is in fact 1,187 cases is the answer for this. The blind Dutch auction will start at $400 a case on Ghostwrite, and what the breakers sell it for is up to them. Yeah, so we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, now you're borrowing a lot of like structure and language and concepts from the sports card hobby. Am I properly inferring that? I mean, you're talking in our language now.
We're straight stealing it. I mean, this is like we're not trying to sugarcoat this, right? We take all the best things about the trading card industry and apply it to an industry that is big enough to work with these leagues and players, but has never had this type of structure and this type of product to create these type of collectibles. So, and that toys generally, it's an industry that's big enough to matter. It's big enough to work with all the most important brands and artists and companies, but it doesn't have the monoliths that sneakers and trading cards. In sneakers, the day one we would deal with Adidas and Nike. In trading cards, it's the NBA and Fanatics. In collectible toys, you have like Funko and the Metacom, but there's not a lot of like really big companies. So yeah, I mean, we're making no like qualms about it. Like we are copying the best of trading cards and applying it to collectible toys.
Got it. Okay. So, sorry, this is probably an offensive question or a stupid question, but how do you distinguish the Ghostwrite items from something like Funko Pops? What are the core differences?
Yeah. So actually, okay. So the most important comparison is not Funko, but it's Bear Brick. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bear Brick or some of the people on chat, right? This Bear Brick, which is the most successful, longest running collectible toy franchise, was it's made by a Japanese company called Metacom, and a Bear Brick is all other collectible toys are IP, it's characters, it's Spider-Man. Funko, each one is individual, like this is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley. But a Bear Brick is just a blank blank canvas. It's just a shape. So it's a human body with a bear head. Like you could put Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley or Spider-Man or somebody on this. But it's in this case, it's just a random design from this company. And so Ghostwrite is like Bear Brick in that ghosts are a blank canvas, right? Like a ghost has no face, has no gender. Like the ghost itself is not a character. It's simply a blank canvas to have whatever character, whatever skin you want on it. Trading cards are a blank canvas, right? And depending on what's on there, whether it's Wemby or whether it's backup shortstop for the Twins is valuable, but the card itself is identical. Everyone is identical. Same thing with Bear Brick. Same thing with Ghost. So that's what we're doing. Funko is a more traditional toy where everyone has to be different, has to be sculpted different, is a different figure. But like every Ghost is this shape, every Bear Brick is this shape, every trading card is that shape, and again, that's why we get to copy how trading cards work, because we're similarly using a blank canvas.
That's cool.
What's the secondary market platform for this kind of stuff? Is that eBay?
Yeah, I mean the collectible toy, it's either eBay or StockX. This stuff, when we added Bear Brick to StockX in 2018, overnight we became the biggest reseller of Bear Bricks. Like a lot of stuff on StockX, this is heavily counterfeited because it's a pretty easy thing to counterfeit. All ghosts will have a chip in the top of the head so that we can deal with that sort of stuff. So yeah, so StockX is the biggest place for collectible toys like Bear Bricks. Funkos, I think, is bigger on eBay because it's a lower price point. There's not a lot of really expensive Funkos.
Nice. All right, Josh, let me pick up on a thread that you had referred to in your previous answer, which is sort of comparing and contrasting collecting Ghostwrites and Bear Bricks and things like that with your experience previous and today collecting sports cards. How are they similar? How are they different? How is one better than the other in your view?
Well, first of all, I should say I still buy cards every day. I still, am selling cards all the time. I mean, I'm still, and so that hasn't changed. And the size, scale, and value of cards is so much greater than the collectible toy space. I mean, it's not even comparable. However, I do think the macro factors between the markets are getting closer. Obviously, we all know how grading changed trading cards to make them what they've become, right? The industry would be nowhere what it is if grading didn't exist. There are companies that now grade collectible toys. The most popular and probably best is a company called AFA. They really focused on like Star Wars, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, like all that sort of vintage toy. And we actually have a partnership with them that if you pull like a big Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese rare Ghost, you can have it graded by AFA. This is the slab for Ghost, but obviously the G.I. Joes are bigger, and so there's a lot of similarities as grading is becoming more popular in collectible toys. But collectible toys also, unlike cards, are much more displayable. Collectible toys are starter art, right? They exist in this place between kids' toys and full blown fine art. And that's why I saw someone in the chat mention Cause. Like Cause, I think I have one over here. Cause, who makes art that costs millions of dollars, also sells collectible toys that'll go for a couple $100 to a couple $1,000. So that space creates an interesting collector community that's probably closer to trading cards and the StockX sneaker collector. I'm like a lot of us. I collect everything, right? Sneakers, toys, cards, all that. But again, even though I do think that we will increase the value and the overall market of collectible toys with what we're doing here, you're not going to get anywhere near the trading card market.
Okay. So that's really cool. So Josh, the last question I have that just sort of comes to my mind, because you were sort of referencing one of the artists or designers of some other prominent items. Where do you fit into this hierarchy? Are you an artist and a designer? Is that the main hat that you wear in this world? Or like sort of what's your byline in this space?
That's interesting. I've never considered myself an artist in the same veins as these other guys. However, I designed this figure. It took 8 months working with, this is a real number, 14 different toy designers to work through this. But you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a founder, right? Like I'm the founder and CEO of Ghostwrite. I don't spend my time trying to design other figures or other characters, right? So yeah, I think in the same way as it was for trading cards and anything else, right? I'm just a founder.
That's cool. That's really cool. Okay, well, can we talk cards now? You did make
Hell
a
yeah.
mention of your buying and selling, even to this day. So wait, let me just give you the floor here. What are you excited about in cards right now?
Well, let me, before I go there, let me ask you guys. I have noticed that there's been an uptick in football Black Prism rookies, and and you guys have been posting that a little bit more than I have seen in the past. What's going on there?
I bought a few of them. Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess I kind of sense like the end of the Panini era here, and just kind of reminiscing about everything they did and the sets that I think are important. And I think the Black Finite is like is the most interesting to me because it stands out more so than all the other parallels for football. And then in basketball, like the Black Prism obviously is the parallel there. So and then we're also noticing that the football viewership right now is just completely dominating, similar to the 90s era of basketball. And there's like this boom of like 90s era PMG greens and that kind of stuff, and it kind of feels similar to the football like 1-of-1 era right now for the 90s basketball. So that's kind of the thought we've been spinning around for the last few weeks.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's been interesting because I think you guys know I've been collecting Black Prism football and basketball for a couple of years now, and you know, in the last 6 months, but really in the last like 3 months, I mean, I've been having a lot harder time getting cards. I've been missing out on auctions. I've had people end around and paying way too much. There's a couple of specific Black Prism basketball cards that went for, I mean, like 3-4x what I thought it was going to go for, where somebody just came in and just had to, you know, had to buy it and overpaid it. And so one, because of the increasing value of all of it, but also because I've always just been more of a basketball fan. I've been selling off a lot of my football to just continue buying basketball, and staying in Prism. I do have two football I wanted to show you that I'm not selling off. I thought I would show you these two. These are probably the two I'll hold on to for a while.
Oh,
They're not rookies, but you know, they're okay. So
did you just get that Mahomes?
no, I've had them both for a while.
Dang, that Mahomes is sick.
Yeah. But you know, 2018 is I was trying to collect the whole 2018 Prism set on both sides. I've basically been selling off all the other football ones to help continue to fund the basketball, because first of all, obviously there's just so many, but also to your point, it's like we're kind of at the end of the Panini era. So I've focused from 2013 to 2021 Panini Black Prism, and then also 2018 Select, and 2013 and 2018 Select. Just I really like the way they looked, and obviously, you know, 2018. I just, in general, I continue to think 2018 was a sort of like magical year for a lot of reasons. Obviously, you have these big rookies, but also like it was, you know, so many things happening in the market. So yeah, so if we want to do more show and tell, I brought some 2018 Select. I thought maybe that would be a good year to look at.
Are you only buying the blacks? You're not doing any of the golds?
No. There's a handful of golds that I own that I will keep. But in terms of like, you know, I have a half a dozen sets that I'm trying to collect. You know, none of them are extraordinary. One of is the 2018 White Sparkle PSA 10 set that I've been trying to get. I have about like 180, 190 PSA 10s. I have the whole set, and I have about 190 PSA 10s, and I'm trying to move to that. So like a couple things like that are like valuable, but it's not like Nat collecting, you know, green PMGs or anything like that. And then just like Black Prism basketball, but they're so expensive and then getting so much more expensive that to try to collect golds also is just, it's just crazy. So
Let's see them.
Well, we won't do them all. I'm going to show you the stack. So this is a stack of 2018 Select basketball. We don't need to go through all the commons. Here's some rookies. That's a rookie.
Oh, nice.
That's a rookie. There's a star. Yeah, honest. That one's good. That one's a rookie. Rookies are good, right?
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Look. Let's see what else is here before we get to the last couple. There's about 10 or 15 other stars, and then that one. This one I've had forever. I was really lucky to have that one, the Trae Young, and this one I've had for a very, very long time.
Well,
That's what I was waiting for.
You ever heard of that guy, Chris?
He's a bum. You should sell that to me, Josh, before it completely tanks.
Yeah. No, this new haircut, it's probably garbage now. So it's all yours.
Nice. I didn't know you had that one.
So what do you want to put out the call for any that you might need? Are there any that you're missing?
I would love anyone else has 2018 Select basketball, the Concourse, 2018 Concourse, right? Just that.
Why do you like that one?
First,
you just like the look of it, or you got a couple and you wanted more, or what?
Yeah, honestly, it started because I bought the Luka and Trae together as a pair from, I forget what breaker broke them. This is it was probably 2019. So early on. So I had those two forever, and I picked up the Shea. But I also the same reason I like 2013 black. I just like there's so much black on the side.
Right.
It just really looks nice. You don't have, and the same reason why 2018 I think looks really good because you just have solid black all the way around. So yeah, at some point you just have to pick and choose. You can't collect everything. There's just too much stuff. So yeah. So any other commons, stars, anyone, 2018 Concourse, I'm buying. So let me know.
So you've been buying these for a while. Why do you think that they've seen such a jump lately, or there's more interest in them in the last 3 months?
I think you articulated some very good reasons for sure. Now obviously Panini era is over. It's just a question of exactly what year and how Fanatics completely takes over. But because they're one of ones, all it takes is a couple people, 2-3 people with money who really want to go after a couple, and all of a sudden you start really throwing off the market. And there were 2 guys who I noticed are sort of new on the NBA black prism market, and they were both going after a couple, and you guys know people always come up with new reasons of why to chase something. And 2013 Prism is the first year of Black Prism, and so then someone convinces someone to overpay for that one, and then other people want to. So that's all it takes is just a couple people to go after it, and all of a sudden it jumps. And I think probably what happened, the same thing, is that some of those people then started looking at. By the way, Nebula has been going up as well, which I don't collect Nebula. But Nebula's been going up for I think the same reason, right? Which is you get priced out of black, or you move over, you try to find somewhere where someone's not. But because they're one-on-ones, you can't really, get where someone's not. Yeah, I think that was one of the collectors.
Yeah, he's probably wants your Mahomes. He's got 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, but that Mahomes and Brady are basically untradeable, unsellable. It'd have to be such an overpay. But yeah, I'm not necessarily trying to flip these at some point in the future. I just think it would be, cool to have these as part of my long-term collection. But at some point, it's just, it's just so above market.
Right.
And basically what happened was I started selling some football because the market was rising enough that I was like, all right, I'll sell these off so I can fund the basketball,
Yeah. Me and Chris both really wanted that one you sold, but too much for football.
And it is. And I was very happy to get what I got for it. And, you guys probably made the right decision there. You guys definitely made the right decision there.
That one must have been hard to let go of, though, just because he's finally on your team.
I know. It was super exciting, but also, like, you guys know, like, what football, you have this perfect window, right? Because you have a week in between games. So someone runs off 2-3 great games, and now you have a full week to make a sale. Whereas basketball, obviously, each game is less important and stuff like that. So, yeah. But also, once I made that decision, is when I decided. At the same time, I made a trade where I traded Tyreek Hill 2017 and 2018 Black Prism in the same deal. So I moved the two Tyreek Hills and the Saquon all within the same week, and I was like, okay, good. I'm done with football. I'm good moving out the rest of them once I move some of my favorites and just focus on basketball.
Dang. I would have taken those Tyreeks off you.
I know. I got a good deal. I was happy. I traded it for a bunch of basketball stuff. So.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice, Josh. All right, Josh, can I ask one last question here? And then if Cardboard Chronicles Josh has a question too. And then we have a bazillion questions of our own to start diving into for the show. My question to you is this. Between the roles that you've had in the sports card hobby, from collector to entrepreneur, back to collector in the shadows, which role have you liked the most and why?
Well, I'm first, second, and always a founder, regardless of, of where I am within the hobby or any industry. That's just sort of innate, right? You're always creating stuff and seeing businesses. And I will say, by the way, that, when I left StockX, there were 1,400 people. When I left Fanatics Collectibles, I think they were up to like 1,800 people. At Ghostwrite, it's me and 10 other people, and a business is just people, like, period. That's it. And like, you guys know this, you're fortunate to get to work together and have worked together for a long time. And so for me to be able to work with exactly who I want to work with, and like, it's like just those 10 people right now, and not have to worry about the bureaucracy and the politics and all the things that go into running a big company, that I love way more than, I'll trade that, 100 times out of 100 for any of the notoriety of, being, in rooms with, with Michael Rubin and other people in the trading card industry. But I also, I'll say that is, I would take that over, but it was really fun to be working at that time in the trading card industry of how much change was happening, and to be, one of the catalysts for that change.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of work left to happen, and there will still be a lot of change in the industry. And that was just very fortunate timing to be at the right place at the right time to be able to do that. That was pretty great.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. All right, Josh, Josh.
I have a question.
Yeah, go
What's
for it.
What's your take on the piggy banks cards?
This is the like custom, right?
You know.
Is there something that's been new that's been going on with them of why you're asking? I've known about them for a while.
They're selling at prices that are similar to like real cards.
Really?
Yes, let me find
yeah, I mean, I've known about those cards for a while.
Did I spell it wrong?
Are there certain
X?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Are there certain ones or certain people that are really popular?
This one. This one sold for $12,000 on MC Sports Cards. Like, they're starting to jump into
Wow.
like legit eBay seller auction houses and stuff.
What was that a 1-on-1?
I think they're all one-of-ones. I think they're all like art card one-of-one custom cards. I'll help you out. We've been discussing like the legalities of it, like the lack of licensing and using LeBron's picture and like using NBA logos and Michael Jordan without consent and like
Yeah.
the issues that might come up, and if you've come across that with your companies.
Yeah, well, so that is a very huge area of law, the line between art and commerce, right? And the fact that they're 101s, or they're small numbers is going to help on the art side. If he's selling that for $12,000 versus he sold them all at $100, and then someone else, the market went up, that's a little bit different too. But most artists like this have continued. I don't see this being a long-term legal issue, assuming that he sort of stays in the art lane and doesn't try to create like a set where they're making hundreds of the same card and reproducing it. But even that, some artists do prints where they do editions of 10 or editions of 100, etc. So I think as long as he's hand drawing it, I don't think he's going to have legal issues. The fact that the card market is starting to value it, as far as I know, this because I've interacted with him a couple times, but I've never met him personally. He's not like an independent famous artist. This isn't like Pause or someone else coming in, right? It's not like there's like a famous person behind this.
Right, I think you're right.
Yeah. So, which is I think interesting that maybe this jumpstarts him and he starts to become a more well-known artist, and then they become more like if you had a big name artist, you Cause or Daniel are some people that we've been sort of talking about within the collectible space who was making cards, there would be real value on them. Takashi Murakami has been starting to make cards as well, and Gas is starting to go to some of these people and tapping them to do that. So, it's I think not unlike sort of the toys being the sort of like intersection between art and toys. You're just sort of you're an intersection between trading cards and art, right? It's like game worn sneakers are not the resale sneaker market, right? That's like the intersection between resale sneakers and collectibles, right? And so I think you're in that space too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would be recommending spending $12,000 on trading cards that that are made by an artist. So
you could have slam dunked that answer and been like, I got the license for my company officially with NBA and WNBA and these guys.
Thank you very much. I did. Yes, that's right. But I'm also not selling for $12,000. And hopefully the Caitlin Clark 1-of-1 rookie ghost and the Injuries 1-of-1 rookie ghost will be selling for $50,000 on the resale market after somebody pulls it. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Thanks for joining, Josh.
Awesome.
Thanks
Great
for
to see
having
you,
me.
Josh.
Good seeing you guys.
You as well.
Yeah.
Sell the first at Luca.
Sure. Yeah. Deal. Done. Deal.
All right. DM coming. Best of luck with the drops next week, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. See you guys.
See ya.
See you, buddy. Josh, could you say something really quick?
My face looked better when it was squished on the left. It was like more vertical.
For the whole discussion, once Josh Luber joined, like my internet was way off. Like your mouth was 5 seconds off from what you were saying, and so was his. So I was just trying to like piece it together as it was coming in.
Gotcha.
All right. Are you ready to rapid fire some questions?
Go. I'm so focused.
Okay. Starting off with a fun one from Kevin M Cormier. If the Dodgers win the World Series, does Shohei Ohtani get the same criticism that Kevin Durant gets for jumping on a team that was loaded to win a ring? I don't think Durant should be criticized, but for those who do criticize, will they stay consistent?
The problem with the Durant one, here's the difference. I say no, and because the difference is that Durant lost to the Warriors team with his own team that was up 3-1 and could have gone to the finals. And then he jumped ship to the team that beat him. Whereas Ohtani was like rotting away on the Angels, the team that wasn't even making the playoffs. So it was more of like a jumping from a team that was irrelevant to going to giving himself a chance, and only a few teams could afford him. So he picked the Dodgers. It was like between them and the Red Sox or whoever else can even afford a guy like that.
All right.
I said no because the difference is there was already a dynasty with the Warriors where they were winning all the fucking time. And then Durant went there.
Yeah. Well, the Dodgers won the World Series 4 years ago?
Yeah, but 4 years in baseball is like 10 years in basketball because they have like...
And then the guy who hit the walk-off grand slam tonight, he was already like an MVP in another World Series for a different team, I think?
The Braves.
Or was that for the Dodgers?
Braves. Plus in baseball, it's not as like it's a little bit more like hockey where like it's harder for one team to have a dynasty, there's more luck involved. There's less runs, and it's kind of like which team gets hot. So it's not like him joining was like a guaranteed they're going to roll off 3 straight like with the Warriors and Durant,
Yeah. Still, it does kind of feel like a super team.
Yeah, the Mets, Dodgers, and Yankees have the 3 highest payrolls, and they all made the Final Four. But last year, the D-backs and the Rangers were in the World Series, so like this year just kind of fell together that way.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're also up against a different super team, so you really don't have a good choice.
Aaron Judge in the playoffs. Choke.
Oh, shit, okay. Hey, what color's his jersey, by the way?
Dude, his helmet was black. His helmet is so black in these games. You guys are crazy.
It's blue. Everyone knows the Yankees are blue.
All right, it's midnight blue, right?
Sure. I'm not arguing the color on the hex patterns. I'm arguing when I see them in the game, it looks black.
And I think we solved that definitively with the hex test.
All right, next question. We're rolling.
Yeah, man. Cards says, give us your NBA award predictions.
Ugh, I hate these questions.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have any.
Let's just pick out ones
from the favorites. I'm good with whoever the favorites are. I don't have any insight beyond that.
Plus, like 6-man and comeback. I don't care about those.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, real quick, Luka Doncic is the favorite to win MVP.
Sure.
Wembanyama is the favorite to win Defensive Player.
Sure.
And do we care about any others?
No, it's comeback and 6-man. Don't care.
Yeah.
Or like clutch of the year, isn't it? They just like look at the clutch numbers at the end of the year. It's almost.
So they also do like most improved player.
Yeah.
Most improved.
Yep. MIP. All right. Let's move on to the next question from Junk Wax Packs. Collectors may create boundaries to limit the scope of cards that they will add to their collection. A few examples include no sticker autographs, no non-playing years cards, no unlicensed cards, no memorabilia patches that aren't game used, etc. With the recent uptick in unlicensed products, collectors may be tempted to amend some of their boundaries that they originally created. Have you set any rules for your collection in the past which you subsequently broke or changed to accommodate a new addition to your collection? And if so, what was it?
No, I add more restrictions. I make it tighter, even harder to get a card in my collection.
Yeah, same thing. I actually started collecting with the fewest restrictions. Obviously, I mean, how do you even know what restrictions to impose when you're first diving in, right? But it was sort of the accident of focusing on 90s Michael Jordan that kind of doesn't need a lot of rules. There's, an assortment of inserts and parallels. It's hard to go wrong when you're looking at that offering of 90s Jordans. But once I ventured beyond 90s Jordans, I had to continuously find ways to narrow the scope. And then I, just like you, Josh, I narrow the scope more and more to this day. The awkward part, Josh, becomes having cards in my collection from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago,
right,
that don't wouldn't have met the cutoff if I were applying the rules and the processes that I follow today. That's like the opposite problem.
Yeah, this question feels like a bit of, I see a bunch of people buying unlicensed, and I'm trying my hardest not to fall for the hype. Give me a reason why I shouldn't fall for this hype. And it's like, just there will be other stuff that comes out. There'll be real licensed cards of Wembanyama that come out eventually. There'll be better stuff. There'll be Caitlin Clark, real licensed stuff. Just wait. Just be patient.
All right. From Iowa Dave Sports Cards, what is the etiquette when an Instagram friend posts a card and then immediately shares it a second time to their story? Do you have to like it twice? Because I tend to lean towards only liking the post since they often put more work into it and it's more permanent. However, if I don't like a post, they might not even know whether I saw it in the first place, so I'm protected. But if you see a story and you don't like it, the IG user gets to know that, so you can see who's seen your story but hasn't liked it. This is a lot of unnecessary pressure. How do you handle it?
So I just did this yesterday, 2 days ago, yesterday with my Maxi card, where I posted it and then immediately put it on my story. And the reason I do this, Dave, is because people don't often get like the algorithm. Like the algorithm's weird lately with your feed. Like it's a lot of ads.
You're using your story to drive your followers to your post.
Exactly.
Yep.
So if you don't like my story, I do not care. I would rather you like my post.
What do you say, Josh?
I'll be honest, like I didn't even know you could like stories because they disintegrate in 24 hours. So what's the point?
Yeah.
So same answer. Like I only care about liking the post, anyways.
I got to go with my guy George here in the chat. He says, "Come on, man, like it twice." I mean, that's where I'm at too. Is it breaking your thumb to just tap that like twice? Hit it twice.
Yeah, I always do the story after I do the post of my post. It's like, because a lot of people only look at stories, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think if we're looking at what would be most appreciated by the person who's posting the card, they want the activity, the engagement, the likes, the comments. They want it on the post. They want it on the post itself. So like if you are trying to choose one or the other, direct all the attention to the post because that's where they want it.
It's also not only, some people might think, oh, likes and comments and whatever, it's just for that person. And, they're just looking for engagement. They want it selfishly, but the algorithms and the things that deserve to get likes need to get the likes from us, because then it'll drive the actual collector content up. It'll give more eyeballs and algorithm push towards the actual good cards that deserve it, as opposed to marketing ads and stupid gambling stuff. So like we should, as a community, be a little bit responsible for liking the good stuff.
So true. Mark says, "Come on, give me that dopamine hit, man. You have to like them all."
Mark, don't make me go check to make sure you liked my Maxi story, because I don't think you did.
Someone should write a bot that just likes every card-related post ever, and it does it automatically. Nick Uliano.
I believe that account exists, and it's called Nick Uliano.
Yeah, I just said that.
Oh, sorry, I missed that part of it. Okay. Yeah, my connection is just terrible today. I'm sorry.
What was it? What about Nick Uliano? What do you think about that account?
Nick Uliano account? I always have to check and make sure that he's following me, because sometimes he's following me, sometimes he's not.
Yeah.
Gotta always check. Also, a little unfollow etiquette. Unfollowing people, totally fine. Curate your experience. But if you do unfollow somebody, remove them as your follower too.
Why?
Because we ain't fans of people on here. We're mutuals. So if I'm following you and you're following me and you remove me, then or I'm sorry, if I'm following you and you're following me and you stop following me, that's completely fine. But don't leave me so I look like I'm just some fan of yours. Just following your account. I'm not your fan. We're mutuals, we're friends, but if you don't want to see my content, I don't want to see yours, most likely.
Dude, there's
pull me off.
There's content on the internet that exists that all it does is track who unfollows who to create like stories and drop. Like, oh, Chris Paul or whatever just unfollowed the Warriors. That means he's going somewhere else. Those kind of.
Yeah.
So I've never followed this person you guys are talking about because this person purposefully follows people to get them to follow and then unfollows, and like it became a big thing and it got pointed out to him and he didn't apologize to the people who pointed it out to him. So I just don't do it. But that person once landed in my DMs yelling at me, not really, but using all caps, for not following him. And I was like, dude, you don't follow me. Like, you don't care about my cards and I'm public. Why the fuck do I care about your private account?
And he immediately followed you and said, "Oh, I was following you all along."
All right. From Bigger, Better Collectibles, what analogy would you use to describe your collecting approach to a non-collector? In stock market terms, I would say active investor. In carnival game terms, I like to use the ladder climb as an analogy. Meaning, if you have the insight, mentality, and skill set, large rewards are at your grasp. However, for the uninitiated, a series of wrong moves can lead you to give your money away to the carny game operators. What are your thoughts?
It's hard to come up with an analogy on the spot here. I didn't see this question. I don't think that I would try to give them a clever answer. I would just say it's like a fun hobby. If you like sports and you have any sort of passion of collecting something, it's perfect. It's just a fun hobby. I'm all about what we've talked about on the show a lot of just soft pitching it and then letting them figure it out.
Yeah. What is the ladder climb in carny games? Do you know what that is?
I will search it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
You always go straight to Google Images so that you can hopefully get trapped in a... Oh, okay, here we go. There we go. Oh, it's like the wobbly ladder and it knocks you off, and apparently it's difficult.
What?
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh.
Because you know how the carny games are really difficult? They're supposed to be almost rigged against you? I think that's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
I just realized I've never been to a carnival. Carnies have carnivals, right? Carnival. I've never been to a carnival. I've never seen that game.
Yeah.
Don't go.
Yeah. I'm good.
All right. I don't have a good analogy either. And I as a different approach to that question, I don't think people in the hobby like when analogies are used to describe collecting. I think they always find all the flaws immediately. If you dare to compare cards to stocks, and they're very different, there will be 50 people with finance backgrounds in your DMs telling you just how important the fee structure difference is.
All right. So Dave Portnoy was, how he does the pizza reviews?
Yeah.
He took a week off of pizza reviews because he went to the Texas State Fair.
Yep.
And he basically hated all the food. He gave them really low scores. They had a pickle pizza, he didn't even know what a corn dog was, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And it was all kind of disgusting foods that he ate. So State Fair overrated.
Yep. We tried the State Fair, I think our first year in Dallas, and not a great review.
Isn't the parking a nightmare? Didn't you say it was a long walk from parking?
We also I'll not yell because someone said I was yelling, and sorry, I'm across the room, so I thought you couldn't hear me, but I'll just talk quieter. We went the first year on a Tuesday, afternoon, and there was not a lot of people there,
mm-hmm.
but you park in dirt areas. It wasn't that great.
The parking is frustrating on two levels. Number one, it takes 20 minutes to enter and then get to your parking spot, and there's people constantly waving you along. And then the second problem is that once you park, you have to walk another 20 minutes to get to the beginning of the fair. So you are really, you are really
Now he's saying, why am I whispering?
you're really in for a problem.
That's the same level of comedy. Nick and I are on the same level of. That's like the first thing I was thinking. Now I'm just gonna be like, she's whispering.
She made the first mistake, which is give any
Listening to her
credence
chat.
to anything coming from the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I love the chat, by the way. The chat has carried me through many times.
Yeah. Remember that one week I couldn't read the chat?
Oh.
It was like the show was honestly pretty awful.
That's the worst. That's like
Yeah. I had to just sit here with my own thoughts. It's horrible.
It is horrible. I hate sitting with my own thoughts. Okay, I need to write that one down. All right.
I had something funny to say about the fair. Oh, we went to a festival, like a fall festival, much better. And we have those here where it's like there's like pumpkin patches and like kids rides. My kids had a blast. They have like train rides and they have like a slide and all this kind of stuff. It's much more appropriate, I think. The state fair is like ridiculous. So here's a bunch of fried junk.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you do once you're full? You're cooked.
Yeah, well, he says that on day one. He's like, I got to eat a bunch of stuff, so I'm taking one bite, literally everything, because this is gonna be disgusting.
But like, remember we tried a bunch of stuff that like supposedly won awards, and it was just like mediocre. Like it wasn't anything where I was like, oh my gosh, this is delicious.
Yeah, that's kind of what Dave was saying as well. He's like, this is your best thing, and he's like, yeah, we're famous for this worldwide. He's like, gotcha. It's disgusting.
Yep. I agree with Dave on that. Okay. From Rigoman44, do you ever see the hobby going back to being a small niche, or will it always be more mainstream? In other words, will collecting ever go back to the way it was before COVID?
I think that toothpaste is out of the bottle. Yeah. There's too many big companies involved now that have put too much resource into it where they won't want to just like walk away from it. Yeah,
I agree. I think that is the key difference, is that there's corporate infrastructure in place now that's going to market and intervene and try to actually make it quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, you think Ruben and Fanatics are going to be like, you know what, this was cool, but I think we're just going to pack up.
Yeah. And it is noteworthy that even as prices on the secondary market for singles have oscillated, that's not even a dramatic enough word. They've been on a roller coaster ride. Some of those roller coaster rides went straight into the ground, and other ones, had more twists and turns. Even amid all that, the volume, the amount of money, and probably the amount of people participating is near the highest it's ever been, or is the highest it's ever been right now. From Mike Pinkerton 50, does the hobby need more podcasters with new voices?
More
podcasts, new voices.
Oh, I was thinking less.
Yeah, I think Mike is trying to send us a signal.
He wants this show to fold?
I'm just joking.
Dude, don't threaten me with that. I'll threaten everyone else with that. one more comment like that, Chris, and I'm out of here.
All right, you know what, Josh? I'm with you here. I think because of this comment from Mike Pinkerton, I think this may be the last episode of the crossover.
Yeah. We're going to shrink this to 0 minutes. How about that?
Yep. So everybody DM Mike. Thank him for moving us along. No, to the spirit of Mike's question, I do think I actually agree. I would like to hear some new podcasts with some new voices. Who is the Cardboard Chronicles of 2024?
Yeah, that's good. We had to get our 3 minutes of sarcasm. You're right.
Yes. I am actually in a space right now, in a relationship with hobby content right now, where I like what's out there and I would like more.
Yeah, more specific content. Like you want to see more of hockey collector, football niche collector, or you want to see more general content?
I'd rather not. I hear Christina's voice in my head right now saying, don't give free ideas to people for what type of content to make. So I'm just going to hold it back. I'm not going to say.
Wow. I'm so fucking proud of you.
I thought you might be, yeah.
4 years now.
Yeah.
I've been telling you guys this, and I'm finally the voice in your head telling you, don't do this.
All right, so here are my top 5 ideas.
Oh my God, shut him up.
Idea number one.
No, earlier today I was actually practicing poses in the mirror for thumbnails for YouTube.
I think we should have a show where someone's off camera and they just scream at the top of their lungs.
That would be a great show.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to skip to a different question. I put it in a slightly different place because of this question from LSU. Where is it? Okay. Oh, damn. Okay, never mind. I'll have to say that later. Okay. Next question here from KB24 Cards. Do you prefer numeric grades or authentic grades for masterpieces or one-of-ones? I have two of them, and I'm debating.
Always numeric. I mean, you could put a min grade on it if you're actually like in between two decisions. You could always just put min grade on it, and you can get the best of what you want. Like if you want it to be a 7 or up, just do min 7.
Yeah. I'm just not on board with authentic grades.
Except for autos.
For my collection. For autos, I would if the question was, do you put authentic auto or
leave it off.
A numerical grade, I choose numerical grade. But if the question is no grade at all, just a blank spot right there, and there's a concern that the autograph would be less than 10, or that would be less than 10, then I like the aesthetic presentation of only the card grade, right. No autograph grade.
Yeah.
So, but on cards, for my collection, I always want a numerical grade. I don't ever want to see the word in any capacity authentic on my slab.
The PSA 4 1-of-1, nothing wrong with it.
I have one. I was gonna show it, but I figured if I turn my camera around, it might screw up my stream again. But yeah, I have a PSA 4 1-of-1 and plenty of 7s.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet you got a lot of 7s.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin M Cormier says, "Can we get a shot clock on breakers? I like watching Instagram highlights, but if you take more than 3 seconds to reveal the card, you're not building drama. You're annoying me. Hurry up! I have raccoon videos to watch."
Yeah, this is the TikTok Reel Shorts world. Just show the card.
Right.
My attention span is already 0.
Yep. And I'm going to expand this beyond breaker videos. Which, yeah, if a breaker highlight reel makes it into my reel scroll, and the card isn't shown within a second, yeah, I'm out. I don't care. It's not right here. Oh, turn it around.
Then they're like, no. Then they're like, wait a minute. Oh. And then they come back and like, I'm out. I don't even care anymore. It could be the best card ever. You lost me.
Now that might help in the live break setting, but when you're making a highlight reel to Instagram, if you want me to watch it, I need to see what the card is in like a second or less. And that applies outside of breaking to collectors showing their shoebox.
Yeah.
Go very, very fast. Just boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it should be so fast. It should leave the person watching it wanting to rewind it and pause it and go back. It shouldn't leave them being like, please, speed this up. How do I get this on 2x?
Especially when they put all their best cards at the end.
Yeah. Yes, that's a mistake as well, in my opinion. All right. Just jotting down a title here. Okay. From Ash Artois. I have a proposition for you. I do not do much with Instagram. I believe you guys don't do a whole lot of dealing at card shows. Let's collab on a collector pocket dictionary for all of the cringy terms that the hobby uses. For example, fire, liquid, buying heavy, cooked or cooking, paying 80%. We also can have a section for comping where we explain different angles of winning the comp depending on what side of the deal you're on. Are you the repacker? Then you go off of the lowest comp from an obscure auction company. Don't forget to tell them, well, he's not hot right now. Well, that was an auction. Or, well, that was not an auction. Well, that probably wasn't paid for. Well, I'm contracted for backyard. So, or I don't use sales from a specific platform.
Yeah, I've heard all of those when I'm trying to buy a card. It's hilarious.
What about? Well, first of all, are there any phrases missing here that we'd like to?
Oh, we just need to keep that list because we always have them, but we never have them all together.
Yeah.
I got so extreme in an example once. I was at a dealer table and I like watched them walk up the price of a card that I was just way off, right? And then I pulled out that exact same card and I was like, how would you value this one? And they were like, oh, I don't know, like probably this because of this comp here. It's like literally the exact same card that I watched you raise up the price. My card, which is the same as yours, is half the price. There was no reason.
That is amazing. Yeah. The old reliable, incoming and available can never go wrong.
FS.
Yeah.
They don't even have it yet. That's amazing.
Don't even have it yet.
What are you supposed to think as the person who's selling it to them? You're like incoming and it's already sold. Wouldn't you be like, God, who is that you sold it to, and I'll just ship it to them and you can give me a cut? This is ridiculous.
I think at least among some people, there is actually a point of pride in having a card sold before it even gets to you.
That's an impressive feat. There's one. Love this card. DM with offers. That's a good one. Like you explain in a paragraph why it's like the best card of all time, and then if there's a break, then one sentence. DM available.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. All right. From really cool cards, should people who hold old wax be required (paid) to open it so the Grail cards can surface?
Everyone with 2018 Prism should be forced to open it.
That'd be fine by me.
Like vintage, who cares? There's not like one-on-ones hiding any of that stuff.
Good distinction.
You know what I mean? Like some of the one-on-ones it does, it's like, come on, there's like the Steph Curry Superfractors out there. Let's open up the Topps Chrome 09.
Yep. Agreed. If the essence of this question is, would it be better if all the old wax was open and all the Grails could be released? I think it would be, yes.
Prism, yes. Jam Collectibles says 2012 Prism Football. The Brady Finite still hasn't been found. There you go.
Yeah. There is something fun about the mystery or the treasure hunt of where is something like the 2012 Finite 1/1 Prism Brady.
Right.
Maybe it wouldn't be so good if we just completely.
If you had a box of 2012 Prism Football on your shelf, and that card was still out there, that'd be hard to not open it.
It'd be hard to not open it, but the price of almost every box is just so in excess of anything approximating a realistic expected value.
Right. Let's see if we can even find a sale of that box.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I believe we track it.
$1,500?
No, that can't be right.
Prism Football?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that could be right, I guess. It's not like a great rookie class.
2012 Panini Football unopened hobby box on Heritage, $1,500. 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it sold. Yeah, the card ladder value is $1,560.
There's another one before that for $2,000.
Yeah, maybe those do need to start getting cracked open.
Retail's about $500. Guess who's on the cover of that box?
Andrew Luck.
No.
RG3.
There you go.
Wow. Let's go. Nice. Yeah, he had really good numbers his rookie year.
Jaden Daniels already hurt.
Right. Well, when I was watching Jaden Daniels, I would notice that he would avoid contact always. Like he would, more than any other quarterback I watch, he avoided it.
Got hit not that hard, and he's already like, ow, my ribs.
So I just do wonder, did he have like an injury coming into the season that he was worried about exacerbating if he got hit, or does he have a history of getting hurt after getting hit?
Yeah, he doesn't have a history of getting hurt. I watched him his first 2 years in college. He went to Arizona State. He was pretty healthy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, from WNBAcards.com, how many Caitlin Clark cards will be graded by PSA at this time next year? And then he tells me how many are currently graded by PSA right now. Do you know what it is?
Was it like 60 grand or something like that?
62,000.
Yeah. This time next year? Isn't like Prism coming out in the next 7 years?
Yeah. Well, Select just came out.
Yeah, so like 200,000? I don't know. A lot.
Yeah, 200,000 is probably a good guess. 250,000.
Did you have an opinion on that Game 5?
Did I? Of the WNBA Finals? Would have been nice if they made a few more shots.
1 of 19, is that bad?
I don't mind that there were a lot of missed shots, but it certainly gave fodder to Twitter trolls to just completely rip the WNBA product.
They need to just lower the basket. Like women golfers, like their tee is like yards in front of the male golfers' tee.
Yeah.
It's not like a disrespect thing. It's there are biological differences between men and women like shouldn't be upheld to those standards. And then you'd have a better sport because it'd be more entertaining. You'd see women dunking. You'd see shots going in. Like, it's ridiculous.
What do you think about that, Josh?
The ball is smaller, right?
Slightly, yeah. It's like a half an inch in circumference.
And the 3-point line is closer, so let's just lower the basket. It makes sense.
Yeah.
The ratio of all those things, let's make them all even.
Since you two agreed on this, I am obligated to zag. Am I not?
No. Come on. What if it was like 9 feet, like 9 feet 4 inches or something? Like it's like the ratio of the distance on the 3-point line from NBA to NBA and the size of the ball all come down equally.
These are fair. That's a good point. But here's the zag.
This is gonna be stupid.
Here is the zag.
Of course, it's gonna be stupid.
This is one of my better zags as well.
Sure it is.
Write that down. This is gonna be one of my better zags.
The fact that he keeps building it up means he's still trying to like.
No, it is not. Hold on.
If we would have said leave it, he'd been like, "I'm gonna zag. I think we should shrink it down to 7 feet and let's just get like a Papa Shot league going on here."
It should also be a ratio. No, it should also be a ratio of like the tallest, like the average NBA player.
Yes.
The height of the rim, and then the average WNBA player to the height of the rim. Like that ratio should be equal as well.
I'm so excited to give this zag.
Okay, let's
go. Okay.
Go.
It would be so cocky and arrogant in all the best ways if the WNBA said, "All right, since we don't have much dunking anyway, why don't we raise the hoop to 11 feet, and then we will be we'll be doing something much more impressive than the NBA because we'll be making shots at a hoop that's 11 feet in the air instead of 10."
There would be even less shots made in these games. That would be
so you go
just
from 1 of 19 to 0 of 19.
Dude, I think was it like Brianna Stewart was like 5 of 22 or something. Like the two combined were like 6 of a million. It was horrible.
It was bad.
And they won because of the freaking free throws.
Because they almost lost because of the free throws too.
Yeah, well, tonight the Suns shot 17 free throws and the Lakers shot 39. So I'm a bit sympathetic towards the free throw disparity.
Yeah. That's always fun when the free throws come in.
Not really.
All right, from THZ Sports Cards, please discuss Panini pricing out potential new WNBA collectors with these insane select prices.
Wait, Panini's pricing people out, or is that just like what the market demand is?
Yeah, I'm not sure how the box prices got set. I think the FOTL was done by reverse Dutch auction, and then Hobby, like they set the price, and it sold out like instantly this morning. I think maybe $800 a box or $1,000 a box.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of this is like Panini being greedy as opposed to like that's just kind of what the price is. It's just expensive. People want it. Caitlin Clark is that popular, man.
Yes, she is. Who is a more desirable athlete to collect right now, Victor Wembanyama or Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin Clark.
I feel like it's Caitlin Clark.
Totally Caitlin Clark.
But Wembanyama prices are pretty high, dude.
They are. But I get what the issue is here, which is that here's an opportunity to sort of build this new community and potentially bring in new people. And these box prices are just, there's no way somebody's going to jump in the hobby for the first time and drop $875 or Brian says $875 a box.
And then just like hope you get a base prism or a base select or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't spending $875 on anything in the hobby for like a long time.
Dude, we were paying like $300 for 2018 Prism.
Yeah.
Remember that?
And that felt like a lot.
No, yeah, it was $250 for a Prism hobby box.
Yeah.
And like right after it came out in December of 2018.
And it was like, oh my gosh, we have to spend $1,000 if we want to have a night of opening 4 boxes. This is crazy.
Yep.
Now $1,000 for 1 box.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. From Publius 13, who is winning the heart and soul of the hobby? The curators or the collectors?
He's never gonna let this go. Ever.
It is, dude. I think he was so like shocked when we just started shitting. It was mostly me, I think, on curating when he first brought that up. He was like, "What?" He was like, "I thought you guys would love this."
Yeah, he's like, "This is a slam dunk. You guys are the show that would definitely back me up on this." I actually still don't understand the difference, so I'll say that they're equals.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Although I definitely have gained an appreciation for what is being called curation. The thing that I don't like is just like a very specific type of curation.
Right.
I think curation is great.
Dude, I can't tell the difference between black and blue. How am I supposed to tell the difference between
they need, speaking of lowering the hoop, they need to lower the bar for us with some of these questions. Come on, like who's collector versus curator? I mean, they're basically the same thing.
Why doesn't the NBA just take the rules that everybody likes from the Olympics and put those in right away? Like the rim thing and the less foul calling, like all this stuff. Why don't they just do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're just gonna change.
I think the secret is that the thing that makes FIBA and Olympic basketball most compelling is the absence of commercials.
That's the most compelling for anything in the world.
Yes. And the NBA is not going to be able to replicate that part of it.
I am thinking about dropping my college football season tickets because every year that I go, the timeouts get longer. These games are 4 hours. Every college football game is almost 4 hours, and it's like 85% of the game is just like some dude out there with a spinning clock on the field of the commercial countdown. It's unbelievable.
It's rough. Yep, that's tough.
And it's like I can't see the commercials, but it's some Cialis commercial or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. All right. From Perimeter Collectibles, if you own a player's best card, does that automatically make you a super collector? Or does this only work when you consolidate into that card?
Man, I have this coming up for me right now where I own the best card of a few guys, but it's the only card I own.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like
you have to like flank it with some other cards. I think you get that urge eventually.
Well, that and like, am I even allowed in the group chat of that player if I have one card, but I have the best card in the chat? It's weird.
Well, it's sort of like how many grains of sand before you have a pile? How many cards of a player until you have a collection? I
think the term super collector should be reserved for someone who is attempting to buy as many cards as possible of that player. I think. I
like that too. I like when that means the guy with or girl with the most cards.
Yeah.
I just like I don't want to make terms mean all these different things. Just let that one be its own.
All right. From House of Wax Sports, if you were the NBA commissioner, how would you fix load management? Who is to blame? Is it the Spurs' big three? Is it Popovich? Is it Kawhi? Is it Adam Silver? Or is it us, the fans?
Mm-hmm.
They have mostly 24/7 access to the best facilities, doctors, trainers, and dietitians. They live in mansions. Before, during the Michael Jordan Bulls era, they played close to 82 games on cocaine and eating McDonald's.
Well, they also made a lot less money back then, right? So I don't know. I don't know the solution. This one's really hard. If there was a solution, we'd already have it, I feel like. We've tried a couple things. I don't think there is a really good solution.
One of the solutions that the NBA has attempted is making people have to play 65 games to be eligible for awards.
Which makes you eligible for more of the Supermax type contracts.
Absolutely. Especially the first, second, and third team All-NBA.
But some of these guys are thinking like, 300 million versus 250. I think the biggest culprit is that we put so much emphasis on who is the champion versus like who are the best players that might not necessarily win all the championships because only one team wins. Especially sports media, if you don't win 3 championships, which by the way, like there's let's say 10 superstars, like they can't all win 3 championships. So like that's just like mathematically doesn't make any sense. But the pressure that we put on everyone to win 3 championships puts it in their head that like I shouldn't even care about the regular season. It only matters what I do in these 2 months. So I should put all my resources and energy and load management towards that 2 months. And we're just like the Sixers are playing out that experiment right now.
I think one thing they could do is stop these back-to-back games, and the travel right after a game. Like if you have a game at home and then you have a game like the next night in a different state, you literally go from your locker room to the airport and then you get in like to the new city at like 4 a.m. Like if they had better scheduling, and this is where I think they have men scheduling these games, and this is where women and their brains would totally work it out better, because everyone knows girl travel planners are the best.
Valid.
Can't ChatGPT just make the schedule?
Oh,
they could.
That's a great idea. Now, Josh, I like that take, Christina. Men just feel like they need to pack like one duffel bag for a week-long trip and then they play games every day. And it's a good point that you made. I want to go back to Josh's point because, Josh, you kind of gave a criticism of ring culture, essentially. And it gave me a thought for my own little rant on ring culture. Who benefits, in the words of my friend Ruben, cui bono, who benefits from ring culture? You know who it is? The ownership of the teams. The players don't make more money, or at least not substantially more money, if they go to the championship or not. They have annual salaries. But the teams that get all that extra revenue from selling concessions in the arena, the extra ticket revenue, the extra franchise value that gets built into the franchise if you win titles and become prestigious, the person who benefits, or the group that benefits the most from ring culture, are the team owners. They benefit the most from their particular teams winning championships and seeing, like for example, what happened with the Golden State Warriors when the value of that franchise absolutely skyrocketed. So let's stop serving the interests of the owners. They already have enough money. They are already doing just fine with the teams as is. Let's not be led by them to support ring culture, which benefits their bottom line. Instead, let's try and pivot to an appreciation of the best players, even if the team that they're on isn't that great.
Yeah, it's mostly the way that the owners are benefiting the most isn't necessarily from like the straight revenue they get per year by squeezing out all these extra games. It's like you said with the Warriors, the overall value of these teams rises so much when they are constantly going to these like deep into the playoffs and stuff. So it says here on Sportico that teams are divvying up extra money. It's like 34 million across all the teams across all the rounds. So it's not anything crazy. The owners are definitely making a large share of the extra revenue from playoffs.
Yeah. And the counterpoint as well is that, like, as a fan, nothing's more fun than your team actually winning everything.
Right.
That's the most fun you can possibly have as a fan.
It's just like frustrating to see the team that loses in the finals is basically like, oh, bums. And
Right.
they're literally the second best team in the world. It's just like, I'd rather lose in the finals than get bounced in the first and have less, it's like you get less criticism if you get bounced in the first round. It makes no sense.
Totally. All right. From Braun Reeves PC, why do people package and ship cards so poorly? It seems like lost and stolen mail is on the rise.
Yeah, and this is men.
This is a little bit of victim blaming. Maybe.
This question?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the fault of the person shipping that their cards got stolen. I mean, there is probably some blame at some point, like they didn't secure the package well enough. They insured it at a ridiculous amount, which tipped off employees. Right. There probably is some level of blame to go around, but the lion's share of the blame lies with the person who's stealing it.
Yeah, this is like, yeah. Why do these people keep allowing themselves to get murdered? God.
Yeah. We've discussed this at length, like shipping and insuring and stuff in previous episodes, but never hurts to remember to, like, be as careful as possible, have collector's insurance, have signature requirement on your packages, etc. From Tasty Card Sandwich, a little bit of a sarcastic question here. Please discuss the significance of significant cards and how their significance can make your collection more significant. Also, what are some of the ways we can analyze current significance to quantify future significance? We know that an insignificant card can become significant, but can a significant card become insignificant? And if so, how can we insignificant proof our collections from this? Is there any significance-based data or metric that we can use to quantify and rank significant cards and sets?
Can you tell ChatGPT, write me a paragraph using the word significant as many times as possible? I think this was put to the test.
Yeah, the point here, I think, is that there's a little bit of significance, weariness,
overemphasis,
fatigue. Yeah, significance fatigue. Significance fatigue. Have you noticed this as well? Do you care?
No, because we're having to fight against things that are completely insignificant, like unlicensed cards. Like the more that comes out, the more that we have to push back on it, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not appalled by the significance, the significance pump. But I get where he's coming from. I think there are lots of people who collect cards that maybe don't come from the first instance of a product or aren't the rarest parallel, and they're still great cards, but there isn't a paragraph to attach to them that says how amazingly significant they are, but who cares? I think that's kind of the point here.
I think we're in the second inning of significance.
That's great. Okay. From the Cardfather 13. How much does it bother you when you buy a die-cut card that is not properly centered in its slab?
Do you have this problem with any of those Mahomes?
Yes. I don't think I have a die-cut card that is like.
Is it worse with BGS than PSA on this topic?
No. I haven't tried to really see if there's a distinction.
They're both equally bad.
Yeah, I've just totally come to accept the fact that die-cut cards are just going to kind of be randomly in there. It doesn't bother me. I don't know. Some things really annoy me, and that one doesn't. But it would be nice if they were properly centered. From Cardboard Insights, What potential strategies can manufacturers employ to ensure better long-term value for products? These companies have to balance overprinting, which can limit current and long-term value to consumers, but they also need to be aware of current demand. Besides the top few percentage of cards, can anything be done to raise the value of the middle market cards besides cutting back the supply?
These questions are so hard.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I'll say this about the questions. If the questions were easy, I think the people who are in our audience who watch the show wouldn't be asking them.
Right. They genuinely don't know the answer.
Yeah, these are hard questions that don't probably have one right answer, and all the different answers are going to have flaws.
It's hard because we've been talking a lot recently about how we know that that what gets printed and the volume and how many sets get released and how many parallels they continue to add. Like, we're figuring out strategies to combat that by just like ignoring all that extra printing and just focusing in on just a few key parallels and sets. And so, like, when the question then comes up of like, how do you stop the original thing you're avoiding? I don't know. It's hard.
Yes. Yep. And there's also sort of the assumption that card manufacturers want to make sure that the middle market cards have long-term value.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would do that at the expense of costing themselves revenue in the short term.
Yeah.
So I don't know that manufacturers are ever going to solve that problem willingly. I think it's up to collectors to create boundaries for their collections and impose their tastes and preferences through their buying decisions on the secondary market.
Yeah.
From JD9 Cards, can you discuss the $4.4 million sale of the Ohtani 50 home run, 50 stolen base ball and the Acuna 4070 ball from last year, which sold for $17,000? What's 4.4 million divided by 17,000?
What's 40 plus 70?
40 plus 70 is 110.
What's 50 plus 50?
100.
Oh, that's so interesting. I would think that the other one's more impressive.
Yeah, you have a point. The Ohtani ball sold for a mere 261 times the Acuna ball. So there are three questions accompanying this. A, do you think the Ohtani ball was overvalued? B, do you think the Acuna was undervalued? C, why was there such a big difference?
You want to know my theory on this?
Yes.
Thought about it for a while. I think that the memorabilia market is so desperate to create value in anything Ohtani, and the best way to create value in the memorabilia market is like a career-long record or like a big season record, home run record. And they know most of those are out of reach in baseball just because it has such a long history. So like, let's just create some record that he's got, and let's make this the one thing we put all of our eggs into. Get the whole memorabilia market fired up. Let's one big sale. Let's have ESPN take a look at it and all this crap. I don't understand it. It's like a very insignificant record, in my opinion.
I think that's almost certainly accurate. I think that is the middle, beginning, and end of the plan there. And like, okay, so that bleeds into the next question here, which comes from Out of Wax. Should a distinction be made on sales of collectibles to private collectors versus entities like corporate foundations? The Ohtani ball went to a Taiwanese investment firm with infinite funds and will be owned by the firm instead of one person.
Is that really what happened?
Yes. And we know that was what happened because almost immediately after the sale, the seller, the auction house, Golden Auctions, made a post saying, we are going to announce who won this item, which is extremely, I don't know if that's ever been done, where an item was won and then it was followed up immediately by the auction house itself marketing the person who bought it, and then it was posted that it was purchased by an investment firm.
I want to know who was second in the bidding.
That's always the interesting question.
More interesting to me.
Yep.
Because like it's some rich firm or whatever, they can just eat the money, they don't care. But someone else is bidding similarly.
Yeah. Yep. And so the thing that I like too about what JD9 Cards brings up is that it's incomplete to discuss the Ohtani 50-50 ball at 4.4 million without also discussing the Acuna 40-70 ball at 17,000.
What do you mean?
It would be akin to discussing the John Stockton autograph patches for 18,600 without also discussing in the same breath that a nearly identical one is available on eBay for 1,500. So yeah, you have one that sold for 18,000, but there's a very similar one that is unsold for 1,500.
Yeah.
The full context, if we're trying to analyze a market, the full context isn't one anecdotal piece of data. It's the full. We need all the facts. We need to exhaust all of the information sources. And here, if we're going to talk about memorabilia and the value of balls, we have to talk about the $4.4 million ball in the same breath as the 40-70 $17,000 ball.
Yeah. Well, how am I supposed to get excited as a future participant / investor / collector in the collectible space if some bank is just swallowing up these cards for millions of dollars? How is that supposed to entice me to like believe in the long term? Oh, like banks are gonna come in and just like buy me out. I'm gonna be rich. Wow, this is great. Like it's just not like a viable strategy to long-term success in my opinion. Like banks are gonna fucking run the hobby now. This is horrible.
This is horrible. And that's what Ruben's question is getting at. Shouldn't we distinguish this sale from others because a bank won this item? And then, like, to your point there, to the people who do get really excited about the idea that, hey, there's lots of money coming in.
My ball's worth more now, yeah.
Well, what? Okay, so and then what? So then you sell your ball, and then what? And then what? You can't buy anything with your ball proceeds because everything's way more expensive now. So then what happens? You know, like you buy a shit box, like
you need to go find me to get better balls.
Well, look what they did to shit boxes in 2008. Like, do we want them in our hobby?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, everyone has all these like theories on the shitbox prices and stuff. It's just because of all the greedy banks that bought them up and fucking rented them out to people at twice what they paid so they can get their money back, and they refuse to sell lower than what they paid, and it just turns into the same thing with the hobby.
Is the Ohtani ball too big to fail?
I think that Nick just put the title in the chat. If you guys won't read it, I will.
Go ahead.
Do people
sell your balls and buy a shit box?
Does everyone know what a shit box is? Have we gone over that enough?
They should know.
If they've watched the show once, I think they know.
I feel like we haven't said it in a while.
No, I mean, it's very memorable. If anybody forgot it,
like if you Google shitbox, you're not going to get what we're talking about. Wait,
don't turn the camera out of that Google until you screen it first.
Why? That's people on Reddit say it's like a car, like a shitty car.
Close.
Yeah, Urban Dictionary says a shitbox is a vehicle with one or more of the following features: rebuilt or salvaged title, cracked windshield. So it's like a piece of shit car on the internet.
So basically, my element is a shitbox?
I think so.
That makes sense because I don't own a shitbox, so at least we have another shitbox.
See, here's the distinction though. They're saying like it's a piece of shit. We're saying this box moves the shit around.
We're way more accurate. So first of all, those aren't shit boxes; those are shitmobiles. Okay, big difference. Shit box refers to the mechanics of a home.
The plumbing.
The plumbing.
It's a box where you shit.
It's a box where you shit, and then your shit gets removed from your sight and your smell. Pretty convenient.
It's been a joke on how houses basically were just like indoor plumbing. Now it's turned into this real estate market.
It's a great commentary.
Yeah. Reggie Miller would be proud.
Bust the ass and laugh about it.
And laugh about it. Did you, the Simmons pod, this week he had a part 1 and 2. He interviewed the UFC guy. I can never pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try. But he was making fun of Reggie Miller. He was like, oh my God, I hope when TNT loses the license, we don't have to hear Reggie Miller anymore. He's awful this year. And I was like, yes.
Dude, I said this last night, like, after the games, when Shaq just started talking, I was just like, am I the only one who's happy this is the last year for TNT inside the NBA? I just can't take this man seriously anymore. All of them are so worried about their own legacy that they constantly put down the current players and the franchise of which they are employees, the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd.
Yeah. Valid. Yeah, I skipped that part 1 of the Simmons, and I only listened to part 2 because I looked at the caption of the part 1, and it said he makes his case for Jason Tatum for MVP, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, and that was like UFC and Yankees. You skipped the right one. Yeah. But there was that one part where he just went off on Reggie Miller, and I was like, this is amazing. He's just firing off strays for Reggie Miller right now.
Nice.
The best is when Chuck criticizes players for jumping teams, when he famously has done that twice, like very publicly demanded out and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Gotta love it. Okay. Oh, how much money do you think Kenny the Jet Smith makes a year?
Way less than Charles and Shaq.
Way too much is the answer.
He makes 16.
Let me guess. Wait, annual salary for Kenny?
Annual salary for Kenny the Jet Smith.
For just TNT.
Yeah, just for his TNT job.
I think I heard you say 16 million. I don't think I would have come I would have guessed like 2 million.
16 million.
You can't be serious.
That's according to the Herald Weekly.
He gets paid $1 million a word.
And you know Shaq and Chuck are definitely making more.
That's insane. Because, like, you know, people are like, oh my gosh, you know, Joe Buck and Aikman, those guys are going to make $6 million each. And everyone's like, whoa. And Brady's making $10 million or whatever. These guys make more than that, and they don't even have to announce the games. They just sit there and laugh for an hour.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that made me look this up was when his top 50 list came out.
Kenny Smith.
I was like, how much money is this guy getting paid to?
Oh, wow. I see it on Bleacher.
Yeah.
This is in the current NBA?
Yeah. Kenny, Shaq, and Chuck all made their own lists, I'm pretty sure.
He's got Russell Westbrook in the top 50.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so his top 50
Jaylen Brown is number 8.
Yeah. 1 Giannis, 2 LeBron, 3 Jokic, 4 Shea, 5 Embiid, 6 Luka, 7 Tatum, 8 Jaylen Brown, 9 Kevin Durant, 10 Stephen Curry.
Someone on the pod was like making fun of Chuck for having Anthony Edwards at 15, and they're like, gosh, he's at least like 5 or 6. How can Chuck say that? And I was like, man, I thought Chuck was being kind of nice by putting him at 15.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean it's just crazy. Like they picked when they were doing their league pass rankings, and somebody took like Minnesota second, and he was like, Anthony Edwards might be my favorite athlete to watch or something. Like,
dude,
the Minnesota Timberwolves have Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and Anthony Edwards. It will be nothing but iso ball and missed free throws. There's no world where that is an enjoyable team to watch, no matter who you're a fan of.
He's got Kenny Smith has LaMelo Ball ranked ahead of Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, the Halliburton hate is crazy.
He was like borderline third team All NBA. LaMelo Ball played like 6 games.
Yeah. Yep. It's hard out here. But yeah, I mean, $16 million a year to come out with that
How do you have
list.
Jokic as third when he's won 5 MVPs in the last 3 years?
He has not won 5.
4.
Yeah.
Like,
Did Barkley make one?
I was counting his MVP this year.
Yeah, Barkley made one too.
How do I see this? Oh, here it is.
I think Shaq.
He probably like hum and hawed over making this freaking. He's like, seriously, he has Marcus Smart, dude. Charles Barkley has Marcus Smart in his top 50. Are you shitting me? He scored like 2 points tonight.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got your guys 1 2 though, so you can't be too mad at him.
Nope, I like that.
Jaylen Brown at 6. What the fuck?
the Jaylen Brown hype, and I indulged it because I thought it was tremendous that he won Eastern Conference and NBA Finals MVPs.
But this is like, go ahead.
He was 87th in box plus minus last regular season. I mean, this isn't even a thing where you can squint your eyes and say like, well, he was 4th, so maybe somebody values it. He was closer to the 100th best player according to box plus minus than he was to the 50th best player.
Well, this is what I was saying earlier. It's because of the ring culture. Like, they won the title, so we have to force those guys, multiple of them, because they're the best team, so we have to say they've got 2 top 10 players. We have to force them in versus saying what it really was that they were the best team. We don't necessarily have to say both of those together.
Right.
And so these guys are smart enough to see these media guys keep putting the people who win championships in the top 5. So I have to force my way into that by winning a championship. And I have to be healthy in the playoffs. I have to do this.
Yep. 20 million or 16 million a year. 16 million a year.
Bam Adebayo at number 12 in the entire NBA.
Yeah, that is unjustifiable.
That's incredible. Marcus Smart is the most egregious. What? Marcus Smart? Tyler Hero's in his top 50? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's unjustifiable. There's no basis for these things.
All right, we got any more big questions before we get out of here?
Let's see. Yeah, I'd like to get to one of these from Cards Clown, who sent in quite maybe 3 or 4 this week. Here's one of them. Very often, collectors highlight the nostalgia aspect when collecting cards. Shouldn't the nostalgia aspect be much more dominant for memorabilia, especially game or player worn, or autographed cards, than other cards? Because these elements are meant to bring the collector closer to the star. Why do certain collectors even prefer cards without memorabilia items? How can shiny non-memorabilia and non-autograph cards provide the same degree of fun and satisfaction?
Do you have an answer? You ready to fire off?
I do. I have an answer for the nostalgia part. In terms of like how people decide what they find enjoyable and fun, I think that's purely subjective. So what one person finds as fun is going to be very different than what another person finds as fun. But on the nostalgia topic, the thing that people have nostalgia for is not necessarily the shoe or the jersey that the player was wearing during a particular game or a particular photo shoot. The thing that a card collector has nostalgia for is the fact that they collected cards when they were a kid. That's the root psychological driver of nostalgia, is that we think back to a simpler time when we were kids, when we didn't have the burdens and the worries and the concerns of adult life, and we just lost ourselves in the escape of collecting cards and putting them into binders and opening up packs, looking up their values in the Beckett price guide, reading articles about the cards, trading them with our friends, going to the local card shop. The nostalgia exists for the act and behavior of collecting cards. That's the sole heart driver of the nostalgia. So that's how I would answer the nostalgia part. I think that's where we have a disagreement, is sort of what is the nostalgia for, and the nostalgia is for that. In terms of the preference stuff, like I said, I think, you know, the preferences are going to be subjective. It's going to be really hard to say you should like something that has a memorabilia item more, an embedded memorabilia piece more, because it's, you know, maybe literally somebody's brain looks at something that doesn't have a memorabilia piece and just thinks it looks nicer.
Yeah. We don't have nostalgia for the actual, like, cardboard in the sweaty jerseys, right? We have nostalgia for, like you said, the act of collecting, the memories of trading with friends, the binders sprawled out on our floors as kids. It's more of the memories of collecting, the act of it.
Exactly. But I thought it was a really good and well-constructed question, and definitely made me think for a second. Obviously, we have a ton of other questions we didn't get a chance to get to. Browsing them quickly just to see if there's anything we want to hit really quick before we leave. How about this one from Prison Mike? We'll close on this. Prison Mike PC says, past card markets, vintage, 90s, early 2000s, and even early Panini, are driven primarily by nostalgia, player and team collecting, and investment opportunities. With that said, my question is this. With the influx of the short-term gambling mentality in the current card market, as seen in new releases that will carry into the Fanatics era that is forthcoming, how will any of these cards be desirable long-term? I'm concerned that manufacturers are so fundamentally focused on card experiences that they are not trying to really engage long-term collecting.
Right. Yeah, I think that's why we've been so focused on the one-of-ones, because we don't know about anything else. Everything else is kind of up in the air, and it is kind of more focused on the hits and the case hits and stuff like that. Like, that stuff makes me nervous because we don't know the supply. So we're just going straight to the one-on-ones, and everything else is, the gold prisms, stuff like that. But we've been talking about this a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have. Yeah, I don't want to give too much more of an answer to this. I have other ideas, but I'd rather not give them away. So, sorry, Prison Mike. I think it's a great question. And I think what Josh said is exactly how I feel too. So, all right, let's pick a title for the show.
Balls and shit boxes.
First up, we have Collector in the Shadows. We never really debriefed or recapped our Josh Luber interview at the beginning. Did we want to say anything about it?
I don't know. He still had that Luca Black.
Those select one-of-ones were pretty sweet.
Did you know he had that?
Yeah.
You should buy it.
I don't know if it's available. I would love to buy it. It was I just don't. I think there was a visceral reaction from the chat, and I cannot help but agree with it, that we're just here to talk about cards, you know? And like, when Josh did start talking about cards, and everybody loved it. And I am interested on like a business level, on a curiosity level, on sort of like, what's this Ghostwrite project and this toy project, but I'm just not sure whether it's toys, whether it's memorabilia, whether it's ticket stubs, whether it's Type 1 photographs, whether it's NFTs, whether it's Top Shots. I actually am remarkably energized by the total and utter resistance that was put up to the competing item. I always felt that in my soul and in my bones. And sure enough, there was a tremendous amount of, let's talk about cards. We love cards. We're here for cards. That really made me happy.
It's a very defensive community, to our credit. It's very, very defensive. I think we've just been beaten up so much of all the scams and trimming and shill bidders that have been caught and influencers that have burned us by shill bidding their own auctions, etc., that we're just like, you know what? Fuck all this. We're just going to have to get meaner.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're very good at it. We're very seasoned. And the NFC,
right.
we went through Top Shot. We've gone through so many of these iterations that we're just like, we know what to say now.
Yeah, and we're pretty easy to please, too. I mean, talk to us about NFTs and we're going to groan and roll our eyes and protest. But if in the next breath you start talking to us about cool cards, we're going to shut the fuck up and listen and enjoy it.
The politicians could take a cue from this.
Yeah.
Stop talking in word salads and just tell us the stuff we want to hear.
Exactly. All right. So that was one of the titles, Collector in the Shadows. The next one is I Was Following You All Along.
What? Oh, the unfollow.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I hate sitting here with my own thoughts.
You could do, is there an emoji of the guy that's like holding his knees and rocking back and forth? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
That's like so funny.
All right, we have shrink this to 0 minutes.
All right.
That's like our threat. That's our impending. That's our ever-present threat. In a relationship with hobby content, my attention span is already 0. That's good. It's so true. This is one of my better zags.
Surprise, surprise, it wasn't.
The 11-foot hoop for women's basketball.
Raise the hoop to 11 feet.
That would just be so ridiculous to watch. They can barely even, they're like struggling just to get the ball up that high.
Literally, like how many air balls I saw when I was just walking by the TV during that god awful fucking game. Like,
there was someone got a video where they had 3 straight air balls.
Yeah, I saw that video too. The second inning of significance. And finally, you can't buy anything with your ball proceeds.
I thought there was one that was like, sell your balls and buy a shitbox.
Yeah, what was that? I didn't write it down, but you said it.
It was sell your balls and buy a shitbox.
Well, did you see the Sports Card Nonsense Facebook group got banned and then finally brought back? So maybe we should take note and not name our show Balls and Shitboxes.
Right, yeah.
Wait, what? It got banned?
Yeah, their Facebook group got taken down for offensive language in the comments and then just got it reinstated today.
That's Zuckerberg for you.
Well,
I guess he controls Instagram too.
He does.
I
Do we
thought
not
free
live in
speech.
America? Do we not have free speech?
It's crazy.
Fucking ridiculous.
We should just, oversee everything that you say on the internet and just control it. That'd be great.
That would probably end very well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, 4 candidates. Sell your balls and buy a shit box. I guess we just ruled that out.
Pussies.
The second inning of significance.
No.
My attention span is already 0.
That's the winner so far.
And the only other one I hate sitting here with my own thoughts. I think that's good. I think you know what? You want to know why I think that's good? Because it's like it's warning people that we have a guest during the first part of the show.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
And Nick, if you could do the guy where he's grabbing his knees and he's rocking back and forth somehow.
Oh yeah, can you help me pick an emoji too? Both.
Is there just like a crazy guy emoji?
Okay.
I think that's offensive.
Like a guy with like the eyes that are squirrels.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
If we're worried about offending people, then we should quit this show forever.
She's like,
do the shitbox one. Yeah.
For not calling the show Sell Your Balls and Buy a Shitbox, so now she's worried about it. All right. See you guys next crossover.
Yeah, that last one. Crazy Eyes.
Yeah, Crazy Eyes. All right. See you guys.
CY Card Ladder is the most respected sports card analytics app on the market. We have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history. Easily find recent comps and get a better estimate what your cards are worth. CY Card Ladder is the most trusted and the most reliable sports card analytics app on the market. We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors. Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder, constantly innovating. Try it for free. CY Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data. Card Ladder, we're just getting started.